Hello friend, it's Tonton, and in today's video we're gonna talk about the Hall of Heroes. It's a long and overdue video that I did not make in time somehow, I mean in time whenever, but I wanted to cover it. It's a simple event, but I think it's an overlooked one. Either it's like people either consider it for whales or they don't touch don't touch it as free to play when there are things to do. So the way it works, Hall of Heroes, it's a weekly event. You have it every week. It lasts 3 days. It's always from Sunday to Tuesday. The new hero release are on Monday, so when you have a new gen of hero like we are having right now, we got Gen 9 yesterday, so we are Tuesday. We got Gen 9 yesterday, and if you look at my Hall of Heroes, it does not have Gen 8 or not Gen 8, so it have one of Gen 8. You can unlock one hero of the current gen every time in Hall of Heroes, and everything is about prior generation, so we'll talk about that in a sec. But because it's Sunday, it's always like it's not aligned, so you can get the hero from that the week after you got the new generation. That's just the way it works. That's simple as that. So it's a very simple event. You get one free tickets per event as a free-to-play every week. So, there is roughly 10 to 12 weeks per generation, so you will get 10 or 12 tickets for free. You can see that they are Mark of Valor AB, so they have a name and they are linked to a generation of heroes. So you have these tokens for Gen 1, for Gen 2, for Gen 3, for Gen 4. So you cannot accumulate them over time through different generation. Then you will be able to use them Gen 10, because you will have different ones, so they are not stacking up. So they are linked to a generation of heroes. And if I had multiple tickets, I will add multiple times the shop with each ticket. So I will have, that kind of things here and another level of shop. So, on my state 6 account, I double check, I have, all the generation there. So you have a lot of options. And you get one for free, not per day, per event, so once a week. You can, that I used already, but you can buy up to 99 extra with gems, so that's 14,850. Each ticket is 150 gems, so that's nearly 15k gems that you can buy. And you can see I've been buying them, so that's something that, could be of use, and we will talk in a moment why at the low spender to medium spender you can buy them, and when eventually at the free-to-play you can buy them. Then you can buy packs, and these are remaining today, so it's a 3-day event, so you can buy them over the next few days. It's very simple. All of these from $10 to $100, they give you can see you get 20 per euro spend. In my case, you get 20 per euro spend, whatever the pack you buy, except the first one that you get 24 per euro spent or dollar spent or whatever your currency is. So that one is a bit better. So if you buy very, very little amount, and we will, if you go for some widgets and stuff, we'll talk about in a sec, then, that could be where the value, if you spend a tiny bit of money, is there. But as a low spender, free to play, medium spender, often what you will do is really buying these for gems when you can, when you have a bit of extra gems to buy some like all generation widgets. Like these packs are mostly used for spenders when they want to get that hero. So they cannot get, so let's say we are still in Gen 8, we will have access to Gen 8 hero, except on the first Hall of Heroes, like we said, because it's on Sunday and the generation is on Monday. But assuming we are still Gen 8, if I wanted to get Undrink, I will need to, either buy with gems or buy, with money. And often what I do every time is I unlock the hero. So I'm buying, the 15k gem, the 100 tickets, I'm unlocking the hero, and then I'm not touching it for late, that's an option. If you want to get all of them, either, sometimes I like to have them in my profile skin, but you're not gonna use them if you do that. It's just for fun, and eventually you will get them later. When you are 2 generations ahead of your of Gen 8, so if you were Gen 10, we will get Hendrik shards in Intel mission, so eventually I will end up unlocking him later, 2 generations later. So that's really about the whales you will buy. You will buy that, and you can only buy the hero for the current gen. So you can see everything else is Gen 7. You can buy these shards as well, but they are quite expensive. But that's okay. If you are like Gen 1, 2, 3, and you are like a massive spender, you are one of the big whale rally leader, you lack shards. Very likely you lack shards, so that's where people are getting their shards from very early in the game. Later you have many more sources, you have VIP 12, it's a lot less needed, but if you want all heroes and you are like a rally leader, that could be one way to do it, is from here. but that's really like for, you know, people that are 2, 3, 4, 5K a month. Below that, it's not really needed. You might just help yourself a bit on some generation to focus on that hero, which is often a rally leader hero. So free to play, we don't really care. And then you can see that, you know, because that's a Hall of Heroes Gen 8, you can have shards from Gen 7, and you can have widgets from Gen 7. And they start to cost a bit less. So you can see widgets were costing, I mean, they start, let's say they start at 20 more or less, and you have a 10% discount every time, right? So, you know, the hero shard, instead of costing 10 or 12, they cost 9, and you can pick any hero from the previous gen. And if you go 2 gens below, it start to cost 10% less. So it's 8 and 16, then it's 7 and 14, then it's 6 and 10. Then it's 5 and 10. So for us, we are Gen 8. So 5 generation below, the hero shards are costing 5 and the widgets are costing 10. So that's when it starts to be really interesting to get Gen 1 and Gen 3 widgets. Let's go quickly on Discord. You have a recap from Deathmarcher, from WoSnerd. So you can get the pack, the amount of marks you get. You know, it compared to some other packs if you want to. If that makes sense, to get the mystery token, to get something equivalent for widgets. Some people, you know, could be using that for older widget, but it's not really interesting. You have some comparison, but you really what the top you want, and it's on the Discord if you want to. So that's something you can, you know, you can go back to, or if you're on WoSnerd, it's available there as well. So something to consider, like for free to play, low spender, medium spender, if you are not getting, I mean, for me, I'm getting that hero, but that's really optional. You don't really have to. Then it's improving your widget from the previous gen, and there are very little heroes that it's interesting, but if it could be if you go for Natalia, or if you go for Geronimo, maybe 3 stars, maybe 4 stars, you know, and you did not finish their widget and you are using them for bear, like Geronimo is the best for bear. Natalia is very less likely, but you know, that could be the one you have, and that could be better than Flint, for example. So that could be a choice. But you could, if I had my Geronimo 3 or 4 star, I would have improved this widget that way. So because, you know, I would have been able to have more bear damage. Because the second skill of the widget is increasing attack on offensive rally. And that's exactly the same for me. And that's currently what I'm doing. You know, I was kind of not thinking too much about it until recently. And I knew it was possible, but I was like, I don't think that matters that much. But I think it's actually quite a good idea to consider me as widget to level 4 or 6. So, you know, this skill will be level 2 or 3, and that's gonna be, you know, 7.5, 10% more attack. So that's a lot on bear. You can go to 8 or 10, it's just gonna take a lot more gems, right? The way it works for widget is it starts level 1 costs 5, then it costs 10, then it costs 15, then it costs 20. So now for me to level 6 it costs 30, so the next one gonna be 35, 40, 45, 50. So you see like the last 4 levels, they cost far much more than the beginning, right? So that's, you know, 4 or 6 is very cheap, you're gonna get it quite quickly, and that's mostly how you want to use it. If you have a hero that you're gonna keep using, and that makes sense, it will be ready for that. One way as well, you know, some people are using Greg, for example, if you are a rally leader and you miss Greg, or you just want to use him in some rally situation, people use Greg with 60-40 as well. And you see you have an offensive widget. So if, I don't know, you are Gen 5 and you are lacking some level on the widget because you did not do Greg, or you didn't know you can use Greg on a 60-40. Geronimo, Mia, for rally leader it might be Greg, and that will be really it. But, you know, for these, you can really use all of heroes to get some of these, to get a tiny bit more widget level. I would not stress too much to get everything else. If you end up, you know, having 10 or 12 at the end of a generation and you don't know what to buy, you know, so either for me, like I could start to do very slowly me as widget, but it's gonna take forever. I suggest you take one of these, you know, like or you can take one of the SSR shards if you have 12, but that's gonna happen very late in the generation. But if you cannot, take one, you know, a bit of XP, whatever. At the end of the day, it does not really matter for free to play. That's, you know, except getting some widgets, you're not gonna get a lot of value. It's just a very important event from Wells from the beginning of the game. And sometimes if you are running a bit low on shards, that could be a way to get them. Nowadays, what Wells prefer to do, we have a far better event. When I started the game, that did not exist. Like the Journey of Light event did not exist. So it's an event where you know, they have these blimps that you can buy and send for gems, and you can buy packs to send them faster because you can get some, you know, get them back faster after you send them. So you send them for 8 hours and you can buy packs to, you know, have them come back immediately. And that event is really good for charms and hero shards. So between these events that happen 2 or 3 times a year, maybe 4 sometimes, between the VIP 12, maybe like higher levels, you know, of alliance mobilization, that you get some shards, mercenary prestige, and all of that, where you get most. Like, Wells need that less and less, but that could be a source every few generation if you really want to get all the heroes that somewhere someone will buy. You can't really save money. Again, only that pack is a better value. Everything else is the same. So the drop, I forgot to mention, but the drop in percentage, only VIP point. The gems, you never get a diminishing return on gems, but you get a diminishing return on VIP points. So you might get a tiny bit on XP, but it feels it's the same on the books. Like, the books are useless. You know, early days, the whales are happy to get the books, but later, like, the books are totally useless as well. But that's what it is for all of Hero. That's how you can use it. If you don't have a widget on your Mia and you are using her for bear, you know, at least put 2 levels. You know, spend some gems, sacrifice a few shards on the lucky wheel on one of your heroes, do your 2 level on Mia. You're gonna use Mia until Gen 12 or plus for bear, so it's totally worth it to have a rally that does a bit more damage. And I would really suggest or consider you to suggest and consider to manage your gem wells well, and actually go for 4 or 6. But that's optional. The baseline is to get to level 2. That's very cheap. It's gonna take you not even 2 events, because you need 115 of these tokens, and that's 1.5 event to get to buy 2 widgets if you are Gen 8 like me, and they cost if you buy 15 widgets to get to level 2, if they cost 10, if they cost a bit more, it might take you 2 or 2.5 events, but that's fairly doable. But that's all for all of heroes. That's it for now. Let me know in the comments if you see any other use of that kind of event. It's at the end of the day, it's a simple event, but maybe you have a creative way to use it. But let me know in the comments. If you have any question as well, you can find me in the comments. You can find me on Discord, the link in the description. Consider joining it, consider joining the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. It's mostly from